Hello everyone, this is Vinay here from Learn Coding with Vinay again, and we are into the video number second of our series where we are designing database for a business scenario, and the business scenario is drinking water distribution in our area. Right. So in previous video we actually designed the common table like role, user role, and address. Right. So these three are quite common in almost every application, and this can be there, cannot be there depending on the application domain. Right. User address table. Right. Now I just wanted to quickly, insert some data. So I have prepared the script in the background and inserted the data into the database tables. And I wanted to quickly walk you through that. I have, inserted few records. So this is the user table, this is the role table, this is the user role table, and this is the user address table. Right. So over here, the important table over here is the, this user and role table. So basically, if we see user ID 1, so who, let me go to user 1, that system admin. That one has a role number 1. So basically this is a system admin user. Then the second one, that second one is a vendor. Right. The it that vendor guy has one role. This guy, I have given the name vendor only so that, we, whenever if there is a need to query data or understand the data, we can determine who is a vendor, who is a customer based on the name itself. Right. Otherwise actually they should be actual names. Then there are two vendor employees who works for this vendor, and there is a one customer. Let's say, who do we have? Four number we have as a customer, 4. Right. So this is the user ID, and this is the role ID. Right. And this is what we have entered. Right. And this 5 number is actually the vendor employee, and he or she is a driver, and this is again a vendor employee who is a helper. Right. So this is how your data will look like into these tables. Right. Now we also have address table, right, where we have listed down, all these 5 users and some random addresses. Right. Now I wanted to, I wanted to take you over one more important point that people miss, and I also missed to explain in the previous video, that there is, we designed the tables in a very normalized way, and a very, kind of, uh, this is what they should be, this is what they should look like. However, there is another approach also. Let's say a lot of people design uh, tables based on the role. For example, they will have a dedicated table for vendor, they have a dedicated table for admin user, they have a dedicated table for customer table. Right. There is nothing harm, but I would say this is not a best practice, because consider, now we have a user table. Right. Let me query on user table. So whenever we want to create a login, we just need to check in this table if username is this and password is this, and it will give us the, true or false, whether user exists in our system or not. Right. Now if we have these multiple tables, then we'll have to check in all these table whether the user is an admin, a vendor, or admin, or customer, and that username password matches, then we'll have to return. Right. That ultimately actually slows down our query, because we might have to use union or union all over here in the login store procedure. Right. Or maybe in login query, if we are not using store procedure and direct queries, then the login process. Right. Another important thing, look at our user table. Right. Now we know that these addresses are of a user, so, and user we have in user ID. Right. If we go by this approach, and we have a common, and if we use the common user address table, then the ID, user ID, let me take you over here, let me take you this, let me run this query. Then this user ID can be either one of these ID, either vendor ID, admin ID, or customer ID. Right. And based on that, we will have to again query these 3 tables. Right. So that is again not a good idea. Right. So this is another drawback of such design. Right. Another drawback is, let's say tomorrow there is another role coming up. Right. So you will have to add one more table for that row. Let's say help desk, something like this. So do we want to add one more table like help desk? And also in the login query, we will have to add the query for help desk login. Right. And similar way, we will have to add the help desk related queries on multiple at multiple places. right? So having a dedicated tables for for roles is not a good idea, right? However, we can still go with an approach where you can have, customers as a separate table, you know and then this you can treat as a application table or something like that, right? Sorry, application rule, right? And you can manage this into one table and this into separate table, customer, right? But I have combined, and we have designed in previous video, we have designed our user table in such a way that we can take all these into one table only, because for longer run and for a maintenance perspective it will be quite easy. So this was the one point I wanted to highlight, which I missed in previous video, right? From the next video we will actually start looking into the business related tables, right? So thanks for watching this video and see you in the next video.